Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 76. Nature tried to kill us, but we are still here. We are back. We are strong. All right, we're not that strong, but we are here.
Jim, it just really can't be us unless there's some stupid shit technical issues, right?
Yeah, so before we start, big shout out to Vito Giswaldi. Thank you once again for coming on last week. And thank you, Tropical Storm whatever the fuck that was called, for delaying the upload for a week.
Yeah. For those of you who weren't following us on Twitter or Twitch or YouTube or whatever, essentially I lost power for not even a minute, but in that time it must have surged, and that sent a signal back to my PC. I think it fucked up my power supply. Turns out, I don't know how this happened, it didn't completely fry the power supply. It's changed the actual, you know how like some power supplies you can set them to 120 or 240?
Yeah.
So it set it to 240, like the European standard. And that's why I would plug it back in and it would not like stay on. So I felt like happy as shit, but also like an asshole because I took it in and he looked into it. He's like, it switched over to this. I was like, oh, it's literally just that. He's like, yep. I was like, all right, bye. So whatever, it works. I was afraid because I did have it hooked up to a surge protector, which is why I was really confused. But we're back. Luckily, we're back with Twitch. We're back with videos, as you can see. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, no more stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, Chambers Wambers. The real question is, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, my first delectable treat of the evening will be the Hold the Spoon Black Chocolate Cake Imperial Milk Stout with cocoa nibs, cocoa powder, salt, and vanilla. Comes to us from the brewery of Placentia, California. Placenta.
Jim, why do I have a feeling you're pronouncing that wrong?
Right, I can almost guarantee I'm pronouncing that wrong.
I doubt it's called a place called Placentia.
Let me see here. Placentia. Looks like Placentia to me.
Wait. Peace. Never mind. Go ahead. So I'm not even going to try to dissect that shit.
Next out of the creamery, black chocolate cake. Inspired by the palate-pleasing flavors of Jenny's splendid ice creams, blackout chocolate cake is ice cream. This imperial milk stout is mouth-filling and complex, with notes of rich cocoa, chocolate cake, bittersweet fudge, and semi-sweet chocolate chips. Hold the spoon. We'll take ours in a can.
Stop talking like that. Stop it. Stop.
Brian,
damn it, Jim. Jim, you embellished a bit.
Gotta make it.
Is that same vegan beer you were drinking?
No. This is a whole different brewery, but 8.5% alcohol by volume, so decent for a stout.
Nice.
Very, very dark, rich and dark.
I would hope so, yeah, especially if it has what it's suggesting it has. It should just taste like pure chocolate.
Good aroma.
So tonight,
ooh, that is tasty. That is fucking toasty.
This is a brewery that you and I have had many times, but for the life of me, it's one of those breweries I know I've had many beers from. I don't recall any of them. The Ithaca Beer Company.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying the apricot wheat, and it just seemed like a really easy summer. It was like 92 degrees when I went out, so that definitely helped steer me into a beer like this. There ain't shit on this label. I mean, this is as bare bones as it fucking gets. They don't have a little blurb. They don't have percentage, but that's what you get when you get New York breweries. So there you go. Yeah, it's like Jim Breweries. Come on.
Yeah, look at
us.
Not
like Jim Brewer. He's hilarious.
Yes, he is.
See what I did there, Jim?
I wasn't expecting that.
Jim, by the way, I was gonna send you a picture, or have us Skype in because I'm wearing another new shirt. And everyone watching can see it. And I wanted to say, if you could look at it and within a minute think of what movie it's from, I would say...
Brian, take a selfie and send it to me.
I know, but the thing is, I can't trust you. And if you look at my shirt and you type in what it says, it'll show you the result like instantaneously. And if I know you, your phone is basically either tucked between your legs or right in one of your hands or right in front of you. So, yeah, it's... let me just tell you what it says, because that should be enough.
All right.
Stephen King rules.
I don't know.
Monster Squad.
Oh.
Have you ever actually seen that movie?
Yeah, it's the Wolfman's Got Nards one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it like twice, I think.
But there's probably no chance you would have got that, right?
Nah, probably not. Unless there's like something on it to make it look like it, then no.
No. I mean, it's just a nondescript red shirt with yellow lettering. It's just because one of the main kids wears the shirt. But I was gonna say, as I get some of these goofy shirts, if I send them your way, then maybe there'll be stipulations that you won't be called Blub Blub for a little while. How about that, Jim?
Okay.
What? I'm not. I'm trying to help you out.
What's the goddamn catch?
It's just a fun little game, Jim.
Oh,
it's just a game.
No game is just a game with you, Brian.
Hey, Jim.
What?
Can you at least call me Transition Master?
No.
Because we're going to talk about what games we're playing.
Very good, Brian.
Jim!
I'll call you no such things, but that was a decent transition, you son of a bitch.
So what have you been playing so far?
Last week I didn't really play a lot because after your computer shit out, I was like, oh, we got to get something out this week. So I kind of rushed that Splatterhouse thingy I did. So the most gaming I got done, I played a little bit of River City Girls, which is actually pretty damn good. It's, long-running Kunio-kun series. It's the most recent one. What? You like River City Ransom?
I love it, and I'm not. It probably is a really fun game. I'm mad because I did see that tweet, and this is another Jim's terrible decisions. Your incessant need for physical copies of games that you'll play if we're maxing out 4 hours of your life.
Look, Bri,
and then it goes away.
We live in a world where your content can just be ripped off everything at the drop of a hat for something that could be so innocuous. So I have to future-proof it, Bri. I'm doing it for everyone. I'm doing it for the future, Bri. You're welcome.
I just want you to... I don't care that you spend stupid amounts of money on games and collectibles. I just want you to get good ones that you're actually going to keep playing, and that can be good fodder for me to play later.
It is good fodder for you. See, I get to give it to you. You get to play it. We get to review it. It's fodder.
It's like the female remakes to everything. It's River City Ransom, but with girls, right?
Yeah, basically.
So it's like Ghostbusters with girls.
Yeah, but this turned out way better than that did.
Well, that's obvious. But is it done exactly in the same style, or did they at least update some shit?
Oh, no, I mean, they updated, like, all the visuals, and the soundtrack's fucking great. They have it's fully voice acted. Like, they put a lot of work into it. It's not just like an 8-bit game again. Instead, they added some tits on the characters from before.
Jim.
What?
Be classier than that.
Hooters?
Breasticles.
Milkers.
Damn it. So that's all you've been playing?
And I had some nieces and nephews over one night, so I played a little Mario Kart and Mario Party with them, but that was about it.
Okay. So I actually sent Jim a text last week imploring that he goes ahead and gets himself Xbox Game Pass because, as you all know, I'm someone who plays a lot. I get a lot of digital games. And I just saw some of the list of the games that were on there, and I was like, holy shit, like, there's a lot of games here that I actually really want to play that I don't feel like putting out full dollars for. So I joined, and right off the bat, this past week, I've been plowing through more Grounded, which we will have something out probably fairly soon. I played Carry On, which I beat last week, which that game is so goddamn fun. And Jim, I know you're waiting for your physical copy, but dear God, this game, you saw a little bit of it.
Yeah, it was
I can't describe how much fun that was. And then I've been going through, I tried DayZ, which imagine PUBG in a bigger world with like survival shit and random zombies.
Right,
that was way I can describe it.
That was that like it wasn't a hack, but it was like a mod to another game, right?
Yeah, it was Arma too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's always been like it's only been PC for at least 6 years easily, but they've been bringing it to consoles, and I gotta tell you, man, I can see why it's a PC game. Like the level of surviving is, you find a can of peaches, but you don't have a knife to open the can. Like it's too much. Like I've only played like an hour or two, but it's a bit too much. What else have I played?
Right, the game points out the duality of man through its survival mechanics and through horde mentality.
Oh, it does, because my laying down ass with nothing on me still got stabbed to death by some random person who just came up and saw me. So, yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. But no, the real reason I want Jim to get Game Pass is, one, there's a lot of great games, but Jim and I have been talking for years about playing through some classic, like, co-op players, like Gears of War. And they have every Gears of War on there. They have every Halo on there. They have Rocket League, which I'll be able to start playing Jim and whooping his ass in.
Probably.
And they actually have some very silly games that you and I think, could just have stupid fun with. Like, they have like a mini golf game that's like, it just seems really stupid and silly. So I'm telling Jim he's got to get it. It's $10 a month. That's probably worth. I mean, the amount of stupid games and systems and things. If he sold Splatterhouse, he's got 10 months right there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So Jim, no excuses. Get Game Pass.
Fine.
It's for the people.
Sure.
But now, once you do get Game Pass, what we'll probably do is do some live drunken long plays of some Xbox games on Twitch, and we'll of course make videos on YouTube for it, but it'll be another easy way for Jim and I to play games together.
Yeah. Playing with my buddy named Brian.
If you're still listening, thank you.
Yeah, everyone just shut off right then.
Oh wait, Jim, should I, per the request of Burn Retinas, should I give you some more dirty jokes?
Thank you so much for that, Colonel Fancy. Sure, Brian.
No, it's okay. I don't think
you didn't do any prep work.
I thought nobody appreciated it, and then he reaffirmed that he does.
Well, next episode.
I'll get good ones for you, Jim. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then we can show how you're no fun.
I am plenty fun.
You're tons of fun.
Yeah, man. Walked right into that one.
Jim, smile more.
Oh, Bri, I'll smile. Because we have a Patreon. And on that Patreon, where for as little as $2 a month, you can ask us a question that we will answer on each and every single Power Hour podcast.
Thank you, guys.
How's that for a transition?
It was okay. It needs a little work.
It was slightly forced. But, first up from Gamer Astral. Gaming on a CRT. Shout out, or question mark. Shout out to CRT Bot 2.
I like it if you're... Did you get rid of your TV?
You know what? It actually died, but then my one buddy gave me the exact same one. Because I think everyone who went to college in the late 2000s had the same 13-inch Sharp. So he had one sitting around that he gave me. So I basically have it back. So I'm cool with it if you're like that. If you're in a situation where you just have one and you want to play it, one of the things, it's a minor, I don't know if I call it a pet peeve, but when I see people with amazing looking, tons of systems, lots of games, and then this small ass little CRT TV in the center, that like drives me crazy. I think old systems obviously are meant to be played on that, and they actually do tend to look better. They do.
But if you have to go out of your way and like you already at this point have a flat screen or something, and then you're adding a secondary TV just for that, I think then just get yourself a Retron or get yourself something that can play your physical collection if that's what's important to you. But at the end of the day, if it's something that truly makes you happy and you prefer it, go nuts. I'm not going to stand in the way of someone, trying to salvage. My question is, at some point, there won't be any more of those left. So...
Got to get good at repairing.
Yeah, exactly. Get the tubes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool. I like that I have my little one. It's my preferred one for playing like my Coleco and Atari on because it just looks 1,000 times better on that. But yeah, I mean, actually, when I had the hand, foot, and mouth, a guy was offering to give me his old, what do you call it, like a 26-inch Trinitron, which is like the creme de la creme of CRTs. But, you know, with my hand falling apart, I was like, I'm not going to make it, just throw it out. So, it's one of those things where if I can conveniently get one, sure. But it's not a thing that I'm really looking to chew up some space in my game room over.
Yeah, and you ain't got the room to chew up right now.
It's a little packed. Between the games and the drum set and the trash.
Yeah, the CRT, they're going to be a very interesting, our kids' generation. I would love to just give them an old system and a CRT and be like, all right, now hook this up to that.
Yeah, right. Right, we'll be like the Fine Brothers. Kids react.
I don't know what that means. Oh, god damn it, Jim. You sons of bitch.
I'm bringing back those hot topical 2016 topics.
You mean the scumbags that wanted to trademark
The word react? Yep.
Yeah. Now, good question, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely a want, not a need. Next up, from Game Whisperer Dean. Has a video game formed a part of your personality today? Huh.
I would put it the same way you would put watching shows, like if you grew up watching Simpsons and South Park, certain goofy sayings and things I'm sure I do from video games, like ongoing jokes that you developed, especially with all of our friends playing multiplayer COD together, like certain just shit, like a stupid thing Jim and we've said on this podcast and we've said many times. Anytime you hear something even semi-Russian, we start saying old Russian music because it was a goofy thing our friends did. So certain sayings and mannerisms, but I wouldn't say it shaped anything in my actual personality. I just one-liners is about as far as the extent I would go.
Yeah, I don't know about full-on personality, but definitely with gaming preferences. Like we've talked about 1,000 times, growing up with the Genesis and N64 and action multiplayer games, I don't give a fuck about story. So, I don't think I have the patience for RPGs and story shit like that because of my upbringing, but I don't know if directly correlating to my personality at all. So
that leaks over though for you with books and movies too.
Books do make me sleepy.
I mean, you can't do story like you
can't
do
movies.
Death.
I can do movies. I can do, but what do you call it?
Yeah, even that's questionable.
I can do movies.
Barely. Your preferences are still just surface funny.
Not always.
I'm just saying preferences.
I can do deep.
I know you like okay, you'll sometimes dip your toe in and Departed here and there, but I'm saying in general, like you're not to sit down and it's not bad. It's everyone's different. I
love The Godfather. And that movie's boring.
Damn it, Jim.
What? It's old. Yeah, character story. Yeah.
But yeah, that is interesting.
I like the Sound of Music, or what do you call it? Well, I do like the Sound of Music, but what's the fucking one that just got canceled? The old one? Gone with the Wind. I like that, all 4.5 hours of it.
Oh, Chambers.
Problematic.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, like, is there a way to... Yeah, that's... I guess that I'll just leave it where I was, like I said. Mannerisms and just one-off lines. Yeah.
Yeah, probably about right. But it's a good question, though. Next up, speaking of our buddy Burned Retinas, the aspect ratio on retro games can be a hot topic among the retro community. Does stretching the image on HD TV to 16:9 trigger either of you?
No. Let me just say right off the bat, I don't believe in triggering. I believe you either just get mad, get upset, get whatever.
Oh, Christ with the nitpicking. You know what he means.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, what I really don't understand is, if you are actively getting a 65-inch TV and then you're trying to play your old systems and they get stretched or whatever the case is, you emulate it and it gets stretched, you're doing it to yourself. So it's annoying is the best way I'll describe it, but it's never been something where like I can't play a game because it's stretched. I think it's just... minor inconvenience in the general scheme of things. But Yeah, it's not. It doesn't stop me from playing a game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it unplayable, but I do prefer it as the 4:3 ratio. Like, all my systems, my retro ones that I have hooked up with the HD Retrovision cables, I leave it on one preset setting on the TV that'll take that component signal and stretch it, or, shrink it back down to 4:3 so it's proper. So I'll go that far. But in general, like, I don't, like, go crazy over it, but I do prefer it to be in its native aspect ratio.
I could see you being the type, if we turned on a game and it was stretched, you'd bitch.
I mean, I would turn it back.
Exactly. So you would go out of your way. So it does trigger you.
It's 2 buttons. It's not a big deal.
You're a triggered little thing, aren't you?
It's not a big deal. It's a simple fix. I'm a go-getter, Brian. I'm a go-getter for authenticity.
You're a no fun triggered boy.
There's nothing fun about a stretched image.
Oh, so much I could say.
I'm sure you're making it. They do make pizza.
Good question, though. I do like that. It is funny. I feel like, retro gamers are, a unique breed. They like exactly what they like, and yeah, you fuck with that, how it's supposed to play, emulation, stretching.
Brian, saying retro isn't the proper wording. You should say classic gaming, because retro is when something's a throwback, but it's not actually emulating the old throwback stuff.
All right, ancient gaming. How about that?
Fucking hate people who do that.
Actually, Jim, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Does it bother you, or do you find it really silly? Have you ever played a game where they offer the option to put in scan lines, and you've ever actually used that filter?
It never looks good.
I don't get it. Like
it's too art. Like, I know what it's going for, but it just never looks good. It's always darker. It's always muddier. Like, they still haven't found a way to, like, properly reproduce it. So, like, why even bother? Like, you're playing on an HD TV. Like, just fucking play with the pixel perfect looking pixels.
Like, scan lines to me are the same as if somebody was like watching a Blu-ray and they're like, man, you know what I miss? Having tracking on my VHS tapes. Like, you want to get rid of that shit. Like, no one enjoyed scan lines from back in the day. It was just something, you had it. And it's a memory of, like, we all went through it. Like, you had a legal cable, but it's like having not having a legal cable and seeing the scan blurred out porn. Like, it's something you just grew up with, but it's not something you reminisce and want back again. So I never get why so many games throw that in there.
I mean, it's an extra piece of authenticity, but it's never emulated right. It never looks good. And even the best ones are still, like, crappy at best. So, yeah, I'll turn it on and be like, oh, that looks like shit, and then I'll just turn it right back off.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't know anyone who's ever actually left it on. So if you're listening and you have, let us know.
Yeah, if you think one looks better than all the others, let us know which one it is.
Yeah.
And we'll still hate it. Next up, from G to the next level. Brian may not be a Sega guy, but I know Jim, like me, is a big fan of the Sega 32X. Not sure if you're familiar with them, but is there one game that was coming to the 32X which was canceled that you wish had released? Mine would have been the X-Men game, or maybe Virtua Hamster. Cheers.
Slight correction. I actually really like Sega. I'm just not a Jim guy. And anything Jim supports too strongly, I have to go against. It's like going against a bad guy in a movie. Sometimes you just have to go against what they stand for.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I love Sega. But no, I don't know, honestly, G. I don't know any titles that were supposed to come to it. Even back in the day, I never, researched for any system, what was coming out. I didn't have subscriptions to magazines. So I'll leave that one completely to Jim, because I don't know any games that were supposed to come to 32X and didn't.
Yeah, I know there was a couple, and the only one I can think of off the top of my head is X-Men, and I'll go with that. And Brian, it's actually one I think you would wind up liking too, because it's like a side-scrolling, but slow moving-ish running gun, but almost in that Blackthorn Prince of Persia style too. But it's also almost not so much open worldy, but not linear, because you can go in and out of doors in different pathways, and you start as Bishop with a big gun. So it looked like it could have been fun.
Kind of, would you call it almost like Judge Dredd-ish?
Kind of, yeah. I'd say that would be a decent comparison.
That would have been pretty cool.
So yeah, I'll go with X-Men. I'll go with the Bishop game.
Yeah, I mean, was there a whole catalog that was supposed to be coming out for? I mean, we obviously know it ended prematurely, but was there
much like
lot...
me?
See, Jim, I don't even have to give the burn. But, like, yeah, because how many games came out for the 32X?
I want to say 30, maybe 32, ironically enough. 33?
That'd be pretty funny if it is exactly 32. Yeah. I mean, correct me, wasn't the 32X, like, kind of the point of it to really, really start trying to get that whole 3D look down for games?
It was kind of just a holdover to keep the Genesis relevant until the Saturn came out, which they botched.
Gotcha.
Which they botched the launch of that too. So, I mean, it was a bad idea in general, but I've said before, I like the 32X. Like, I wish they kind of would have just gone full bore like Nintendo did with a cartridge-based, next gen console, because I think it could have been cool. But history is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you and I actually talked, I think, a few times about doing a review for all 32X games, since there's not a ton, and we've already covered a couple. And I know I played through a lot of them, and there's not that many bad titles for the 32X, to be honest.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's a small library, obviously, but, like, I'd say at least 30% are pretty damn good, a couple are average, and there's, maybe 20 to 30% are, like, pretty bad. So, it's kind of average for any system, there's just not as many games.
Yeah. But no, good question, G. But yeah, unfortunately, Jim and I, we're not that deep in there.
Yeah, I only watched that unreleased episode of GameSack once or twice, so I can't pull more out of my ass than the X-Men one. But that'll do it for the questions for this week. So once again, thank you all to everyone.
No, we truly appreciate it. You guys supporting us, it means the world. And thank you once again.
You're the lifeblood of our bullshit.
Damn it, Jim.
That's a good slogan.
Don't say it like that.
But they are right. We have nothing else.
All right, so we just got some fresh beers, and speaking of beer, Jim,
Ooh.
this is a friggin'
Ooh la la.
I don't even know what the hell to make it. So,
Have we jumped the shark? Have we jumped the shark?
First, let me say thank you to Snarcast, our buddy Todd. He sent us this, but unfortunately I did see this a few places before he even sent it to us. Oscar Blues brewery out of, doesn't say.
Goddamn pop-up ads.
Yeah. Either way, they made a French's mustard beer. Why would they make this is probably a really good question. But what it is, it's a tropical wheat beer brewed with French's mustard and other natural flavors.
Lyons, Colorado, Brian. Lyons, Colorado.
Smoking all that weed out there, they get bored.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to put this, but it really doesn't take a genius to say that sounds like a really bad idea. And the people that wrote this article from Pace Magazine, and the link is below, I read through it. They kind of say, yeah, it seems really nasty, and then you drink it and you realize it's probably not quite as bad as you would assume. And that it actually has like a little bit more of a fruity, like mango, passion fruit, and that there is a little bit of the mustard flavor, and that it legitimately made them begin to crave a ballpark hot dog. Like Jim and I said about a podcast or two ago when we were talking about some of the worst beers we've had, like they tried to make a crab-flavored beer with Old Bay seasoning. Now they're trying French's mustard. Just, like, there's some things you just don't need to make a flavor of. Like, I'm actually shocked, and maybe I just haven't looked it up, that there's not a pickle beer. Like,
oh, I can almost guarantee there will be.
Yeah. Or there has been somewhere, easily.
Oh, dude, what do you call it? Fucking best made. There's a couple. Best made sour pickle beer. And then we got what do you call it? Goddamn things every fucking where. The Urban Artifact pickle beer. Oh, there's a few, Bri. Don't you worry that sweet little ass of yours.
Damn it. All right, so...
Now
yes.
the real question. Is there a ketchup beer?
Yes, we will try it.
Ketchup beer. Oh, of course. Wait, tell me it's Flying Dog. No, you didn't.
Please don't.
Oh, wait, no, it just showed the die rise again. I guess they figured that would be as disgusting. Okay, there is no ketchup beer, so someone needs to get on that then.
So here's the deal. If we can find it, Jim and I will try this. Obviously. It's still probably not going to be the worst beer. I don't know, man. Like, mustard seed, I could see in a beer, like, making it almost, like, tangy. But, like, when they just say straight up French's mustard, everyone just has this idea of this, like, nasty yellow beer. So...
My first thought was
Jim?
that awful, like, yellow mustard water that comes out, like, when you don't shake it up enough.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, right?
Ugh. Oh,
Day ruiner.
Dude, that fucking oh my God. When you put that on the bun and it gets the bun wet.
You throw it away. Just throw it away.
No, oh. Yeah, that really fucks
Or on
me
a
up.
fucking soft pretzel, God forbid.
Oh, and it gets it soggy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that really... That'll, And you know, it's one
And
of
you
those
try to wipe it
things
off,
that
but it's still there.
no matter how many times I use mustard, that is one of the things I forget every goddamn time.
To shake?
Yeah, I never think to shake mustard. And it's funny because, like, ketchup has been wise enough to... They leave it... Most ketchup things...
The upside
you can
down
get
bottles?
The upside down, yeah. It's like... I wish...
But you still have to
and
shake that, too. It's not always a slam dunk. You can still get the ketchup jizz out of that, too. If you're not careful.
It is, but... Man, the mustard one. Yeah, you hit a nail on the head there. That's, Whew. That's a big first world problem, Jim.
Goddamn right.
But...
Right, I
yeah,
think people
you
in
need
a
to
third
keep
world
an eye
country would
out.
rather starve than have to be around that awful water. Call me crazy.
I think you're a little crazy there, Jim.
Is anyone really that desperate for food, Brian? Come on now.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Thank God no one really listens to us.
Here's a question. What are the chances... I could already see you going, it's not that bad for this.
Well, I mean, they were saying it's mostly tart, so that's right up my alley, really. And then have a little kicker, have a little mustard kicker on the end.
So I don't know if it's because of this that I saw a recent Reddit thing that's making its way around Twitter, but have you seen and I'm 98% sure it is fake, the Jimmy Dean breakfast beers?
Oh, I did. I think that's fake, but I did see that picture floating around.
I'm almost 100% positive. But then I typed in Jimmy Dean breakfast beer, and sure enough, it's not the one from the pictures, but some little...
Wrecking Car Brew Pub, Jimmy Dean Breakfast Stout.
Yeah, so...
The fuck, people?
It's like... But you know what? I could even argue if you're trying to go for like a smoky...
Oh, 4.7 out of 5. Eat my ass. There's no way it's that good. Fucking beer.
How many
beer
people
advocate.
reviewed it,
Goddamn beer advocate. Score of a 91. Everyone giving it 4s. Over 4s.
Jim, no fun. Relax.
Jimmy No Fun's coming out in spades here. I am calling bullshit until I get my hands on it.
So, Jim, this brings me up. All right. You and I are probably more than willing to try any flavor beer.
Yeah.
But of condiments, because we know your wife hates, like, mayonnaise. What if they made a mayo beer? Would you drink that?
I would try, but it sounds disgusting. Like, I've seen a video of LA Beast, like, drinking, like, a 6-pack of, like, fucking, like, ranch soda beer from, like, Germany and shit like that. I'm just like, oh, God. The only one I think could possibly be okay, and it's in that pickle family again, would be, like, a relish beer. I think a relish beer you could pull off. It would be, like, one of those, like, shitty salt and vinegar-ish beers, but it would still be, like, drinkable. But, oh, God, mayo beer just
Honestly, even a pickle beer, like, I mean, you remember taking pickleback shots.
Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't think that would be that bad. I'm trying to think, like, what's a condiment or something that would really...
Like an anchovy beer or something like that? Like a weird topping?
Yeah, like, obviously, yeah, if you go that crazy. I'm trying to think, like, common shit. Like, they've made sriracha beers. They've made different hot sauce beers.
Cream cheese beer?
It'd probably actually be pretty good, Jim. I'm not going to lie. Like...
It sounds like something
Actually,
that Philly should have done by now.
Yeah. Well, there was that...
There's beer dip, but I don't know about... Yeah, no straight up cream cheese beer.
Damn, now I'm in the mood for some of that Bavarian cheese pretzels.
Oh.
Remember that? I made that one time.
Yes, I do.
Beer cheese. Oh, it's so delicious. But no, I'm trying to think, like, if there's something... Like, if I saw, I'd be like, absolutely no way I'm trying this.
Cum beer.
Obviously not trying that, Jim.
Well,
and I don't think
knock it
they
till
would
you
be
tried it,
selling
Brian.
that. I don't think they'd be selling that, Jim.
I don't know. Depends on the cum.
That is not what it depends on, you son of a bitch.
You never know.
I do know, you son of a bitch. Jim, there's even a part of me that thinks if you were drunk enough and you were at one of your buddy's house, he's like, I got this bottle. You'd be like, oh, what the hell? Let me try a swig.
Down the hatch.
Oh, damn it, Jim. So, craft breweries are really trying here. I don't know how long they've had this fucking genius idea.
They're running out of ideas.
But, actually, here's what I want to see. I want to see a barbecue sauce beer.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. A little smoky. Make it maybe a little porter. Smoky mesquite porter, what's the most popular?
Yeah, because there's a shitload of like beer-infused barbecue sauces, but there's no barbecue sauce beer.
Or is there?
Nothing I've seen yet.
So yeah, if you guys ever see articles out there of a random weird beer, send it our way.
Or even better, if you just see a weird, disgusting beer,
send it our way.
DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, P.O. Box 11537, Philadelphia, PA 19116. You send it our way, and we will drink it.
Yes, absolutely. So, God, we're gonna get so much cum beer now because of you, Jim.
I can't wait.
Jim will be the taste tester. Num 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 num.
What if I become the world's first cum beer aficionado, Bri?
If that's what gets us the views, Jim.
Look, Bri, everyone needs a gimmick. Speaking of gimmicks, on to our next bit.
Yeah, so we've been talking for a while about gaming music and things that either a video game sounded like it was inspired by a popular song or vice versa. Today, we have what I would call an Inception level situation where the song by the Hives called Walk Idiot Walk is clearly inspired by Sonic 2 Metropolis Zone, and I'm going to take a break here and have you listen to it if this is the extended clip. If this is a regular podcast, we're going to keep talking, but the links are below. Right off the bat, Jim, just listening to those two, is there any doubt at all that that's not the same exact melody, rhythm, whatever you want to call it?
It's definitely the same chord progression. It's a very simple 3/4 chord progression that, as we're about to discuss, has been used before. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can the tempo is obviously a little bit different, but for the most part, it's the exact same chord progression. But it's not like the most complicated one in the world, so I can't be like do 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 do. Yeah. So yeah, it's nothing like crazy, but it gets. Man, I actually missed the Hives. I fucking forgot about them.
Yeah, but now here's where it gets a little interesting. Part of finding this out was that some people suggested that the Hives were not copying Sonic 2, even though the tempo is more in line with Sonic 2 versus
bit more.
From the Who I Cant Explain. Now, that's a much slower tempo. It's like just slightly off, but the general
it's the same chord progressions.
There. Yeah. And, then the question becomes, okay, did Sonic 2, the people who developed that music, were they inspired by who? The Who. To me, man, that's really close. And I kind of feel like you said, since it is simple, could it just be coincidence that it was that close? Or do you think there was just someone programming that music that just happened to be the Who fan?
I mean, it's very possible. Like, the whole British invasion scene was like worldwide popular, so who knows? It could have been a guy who always just had that beat stuck in his head and was like, "Oh, this will work in this level," and he just fussed around with the tempo a little bit and added a little bit more here and there. But I would say the Hives is probably more closely related to the Who because the Hives are kind of a throwback band. I would think that would be the more direct influence, but the Sonic comparison's uncanny.
I mean, but also the Hives, you figure that song came out in, what, like 05, 06?
Yeah, it was like 04, somewhere, 05, yeah.
So they were pretty young guys. Like, there's also a good chance they grew up playing games.
For sure.
And, but you're right. What's the chances that a throwback British band is not covering a classic British band and a song like that. So that's probably more likely. But man, I feel like that tempo and everything is so much closer to Sonic 2 than the Who. But
yeah, I mean, the Who's a little bit more of a stretch. It's just the same progression, but yeah, I like I said, you can see the comparisons there.
But no, this is another really just clearly
Now,
spot
if you
on
want some
one.
entertainment, watch the video for the Who song.
that
My God,
It's something, Jim.
it is as white can be. But it
When were they out in the
late 60s.
late 60s, right?
They've been
I thought
around
it was
forever.
Like mid 60s. Interesting.
Credit to Daltrey.
But
He
yeah.
can still fucking sing too, even at his like 70s age.
But we, I actually do have a good, solid backlog. But if you guys ever know of something or have heard of something, please send us this way, because part of the fun is actually trying to do a little research and dig into it and see if there is any concrete evidence that somebody admits to, yeah, when I was doing this, I was inspired by yada, 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 or, where the connections can be. So
Yeah, for
just
sure.
a little fun bit of trivia for you guys.
And actually, what do you call it? A little spoiler for next week. We got sent one on Twitter today, a suggestion. So that'll be, pardon me, that will be in next week's.
All right. I unplugged my mic for a second. All right.
When we come back in, we can talk about our first beers, since I just finished off mine.
No, it's all good. Be back in 3, 2, 1. All right, and before we move on with a few other topics, Jim, what was that chocolate diabetes-ridden cake beer that you were drinking? How did it turn out?
The Hold the Spoon by the brewery. This is like drinking a chocolate cake. This was fucking good. Doesn't even taste like beer at all. So besides the probably insane sugar levels in this, this could be dangerous being at 8.5%. So if you're not normally a stout person, but you love you some goddamn cake, get this beer. You won't be disappointed.
What is, are you sticking with that, or are you switching it up now?
Now, see, the glory and the downfall of these mix boxes that I get is no two beers are the same. So, I am jumping into the Expecto Fogtromine. What the fuck? What? Hop Fused Foggy IPA. Comes in at 10.2% alcohol by volume.
Ooh!
Fused with Citric Cryo, RoccoW, and Galaxy. Whatever the shit that means.
Jim is definitely going to be drunk by the end of that.
These are dark times, Harry. Dark times indeed. We want to personally thank each and every one of you for supporting us during these dark times. You ordering our beer is the only thing keeping us afloat right now. This pandemic is scary for all of us, especially for people facing retail businesses like Humble Sea. Wow, that got dark. So,
Who the fuck is Harry?
I mean, it's got like a wizard Harry Potter looking fuck on the front of it,
Oh.
so that's where that comes from.
So are they being cute with it, Jim?
They're being cute. At least thank God that they didn't say like, oh, we're the Hufflepuff of beers. Like, I would have just thrown us across the room with that. But it comes to us from the Humble Sea Brewing Company out of Santa Cruz, California. And yeah, that is a 10.2%. Oh boy.
So it's a hazy IPA?
Fog-infused foggy TIPA.
It's a hazy IPA. They're trying to get cute with the name, calling it foggy instead of hazy.
Don't they all?
That always cracks me up when breweries do that. Yeah, I'm sticking. I got a 6-pack of this apricot wheat. Goes down real smooth. Apricot's one of those things. I think the flavor is fine, but if you ever said like, oh man, do you like apricot? I can never remember what it actually tastes like. I feel like it's in between a mango and an orange is the best way I always describe it.
Kind of.
But no, it's good. It's got it's definitely not too flavorful. If you were trying to turn someone on to fruit beers or anything fruit infused, this isn't a bad starting point. And I had to look up what the actual alcohol percentage is. Excuse me. And it is 4.9%. So it's really light. Very, very perfect for summer. And if you're in the East Coast, anywhere near Philly, then these next couple 90-some degree days would be perfect for you.
Jesus fuck, can this please goddamn end with the 90-degree days? It's been a month straight now. My goddamn electric bill's through the roof.
Wah!
Goddamn right, whack. Fucking hot, and I'm too fat for this shit. Pulling weeds for goddamn 3 hours, and I'm drenched head to toe. My balls, Brian. My balls.
Oh, Jim. Just hire somebody like you did to mow your lawn.
I actually tried to get my lawn guy to do the weeds, and he was like, I can't do it today. I can come back. I was like, oh, fuck it. This is out of control. I'll just do it.
Oh, Jim. Jim. So, moving on, we actually did end with music, but we did want to continue on from our buddy Kit. This is a tough one. He's asking us what we think the best music from the Super NES was, and we can only pick one. There's no in between.
I probably should have saved this for next week, but
yeah. Well, we can bring it back up, but for me, I think it's when I think of like, oh my God, what if you were gonna compare and say what's like if you want to do the whole Super NES versus Genesis, I'd probably throw like Donkey Kong out there for one of the more complex soundtracks and just a really like, holy shit, this sounds more like a big budget movie production soundtrack versus just a video game. But if I'm going on my personal favorites, it's probably Super Castlevania 4 for all the reasons which I've said always in the past. It's one of my favorite games, and I just love the way that sounds. So if I have to pick one between the two, I'll just stick with Donkey Kong. I think that's just an obvious, really, really well developed and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Diverse soundtrack across all those levels. I mean, from aquatic level to the first level to the final fight, it's all over the place.
yeah, those are definitely good picks. I'm going to break this down two ways. I'm going to go with overall soundtrack and my favorite actual track. So for overall soundtrack, I'm going to go with Plock. And it's like, it's another. I believe it's another Fallen Brothers soundtrack, which they always just bring amazing quality to. But this is actually like, it's such high quality music on there. Besides being really well composed, it's almost like CD quality somehow. Like the amount of bullshit they pulled off to make it sound as good as they do is just, it's insane for even the Super NES, which already has a good sound chip. And then for the one track, the one song I always like am weirdly impressed by the most is the intro/menu song to Aero the Acrobat. And if you've never listened to it, look up Aero the Acrobat, Super NES, look up the main theme. You will just, it's insane. It's almost like shredding on a keyboard. It's fantastic.
Ah, Jim.
While still being circusy.
So, I want you to just repeat those two games again.
Plock and Aero the Acrobat.
Okay. That's, you know what? I'm not gonna ding you. I'm just gonna let that sit as Jim's answers.
Look, Bri. I delve deep. You can stick with your normie stuff. I'll go deep.
Listen, you can call it normal.
Plock's not even that deep. No, don't get me wrong. Like Castlevania is an amazing soundtrack.
No. Plock. The fact that you say Plock. Hey, forget deep dives. Forget everything else.
Hidden
There's
gem.
also a reason. Like now, if you wanted to sit here and argue like what is an underrated soundtrack, your answers would be top notch. But if you want to sit there, I will easily go side by side for the soundtracks of the ones I named. And I'm not saying you had to name mine. I'm saying like there was plenty of others you could have thrown out there. And I know you're not the Super NES guy, and you've gotten more chances to play. But the fact that you went deep cuts on two games that they're not going to hold up at all. It's the Jim answer I would expect.
You tell me, Brian. The people will say.
And the people will say, Jim. And the people will definitely... We know which way they're going to turn, so...
Look, Brian, I educate the masses, all right?
Listen, man. You were the kid that for some reason your favorite wrestler as a child was Barry Horowitz. And it's fine. You like to slap yourself on the back.
I was doing it right now, actually.
You know, and your favorite DC character was Blue Beetle. And, you know, it's...
Booster Gold, I'll have you know, sir.
You don't like good stuff. You like the guys that, you know, you think deserve more. And it's fine.
You people listen to these soundtracks and you tell me. You come crawling back to me. Much like Homer to Mr. Burns, you go through that little dust chute and you come crawling back.
Oh, Jim. It would be equivalent to saying, like, what's the best car in the world? And most people are going to throw out things like Ferrari, Porsche, whatever. And you're like, oh, but the Volkswagen GT Turbo had a really good cup holder. You'll throw some shit out there that's like, what are you talking about?
It's a nice cup holder. What can I say?
Don't ever change, Jim.
Right, I'm going to get a rabbit and make it go. Vrr.
I hate you. All right, speaking of hating you.
What?
And anger.
What?
And everything. Why don't you explain what this next one is? Because Jim, he loves these topics of things that piss off lots of gamers.
This might be my new favorite recurring bet that we have. Unfortunately, nothing yet for next week. Nothing yet. Had a close one. But, so, this week's edition of Gamers Mad, as I've dubbed it, will be... So, last week they announced, like, one of the Nintendo Directs. They said, Pikmin 3's coming to the Switch. It's getting re-released, blah, blah, blah. They're adding whatever. Fine. Cool. Pardon me. It'll be another Wii U game.
Damn it, Jim.
It'll be another Wii U game that they charge $60 for and people buy them. Whatever. So, the kicker to this, though, is Nintendo, after announcing this, pulled Pikmin 3 from the Wii U digital store. And Twitter exploded. This is anti-consumer. This is bullcrap. They just want you to buy the thing. How can they do this? I want to be able to go back and do blah, 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 blah. Now, Brian, call me crazy here. Mm-hmm. How many copies of Pikmin 3 on the Wii U eShop do you think have probably sold in the last year? How often do you think people are going to the Wii U and going, I'm going to log into this eShop right now, and I'm going to download me a digital higher price than what I can pay a GameStop copy of Pikmin fucking 3? How many people, Brian?
Well, Jim, considering there was roughly 900 comments on this from Nintendo Everything, I'm going to say 600 copies.
I don't know. I don't have a number, but I'm going to guess it's like 3. I'm going to guess it's fucking... If it's more than 50 copies in the last goddamn year, I'll be surprised. Shut the fuck up with your goddamn Jim Sterling rehash bullshit of, this is anti-consumer taking this down from the digital marketplace. No one was going there to buy Pikmin 3 from the Wii U eShop for a system that's been dead for 4 years, for a game that's been out for even goddamn longer. You've had all the time in the world up until this point to download it. No one was fucking doing it. It's not a big deal.
Now, to strictly do devil's advocate, I agree with you 100%. It's a silly-ass game to get upset about. It's a silly situation to get upset about. I would say if somebody had the game and it's somehow like you can't play it because you have digital, that would suck.
That would suck.
But I don't think that's the case.
They didn't pull it from like your systems. It's not like you can't play it on your system or anything like that. You just can't buy it now from the eShop. And maybe there's DLC that you can't buy anymore, but if you're gonna buy the DLC, you would have done it before 2020. Like,
also, once again, not to harp on this, Jim.
Here it comes.
No, tell me I'm wrong. Who the fuck is still seriously worried and caring about your Wii U game collection? And if you are, it's just time, man. You gotta move on. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you were worried about you didn't get a chance to spend the $30 or whatever the hell Pikmin 3 is going for on Wii U shop, save that and get yourself a Switch. I'm sure you can get them dirt cheap. Like, this is the time to move on. Like, you can still buy it physical, and Jim, you would know this better than me. Wii U game prices, I can't imagine, are that bad.
1 second.
Fuck.
Damn. Shit. It doesn't say it on here. What do you call it? Yeah, for the most part, like the most you'll pay for a first-party Wii U title is maybe $20 at this point, new. But even then, like, I of course put a tweet out there. If you want to play these fucking Wii U games at this point, for all the Wii U games that have been ported to the Switch, buy a fucking console in the games, and you'll still probably be making out better than if you bought the Switch versions. Maybe it's a little upscaled, and maybe it has all the DLC on there. It'd still be cheaper.
And it controls better, and everything's better, yeah.
I don't know. I think the Wii U gamepad is nice. And for all the people who bitch about how tiny the Joy-Cons are, the Wii U gamepad would be up your alley.
But Jim, we've established what you think is usually wrong.
I'm 100% right. God damn it.
In your own mind.
You can't have it both ways. You can't bitch about the Joy-Cons being too small and say the gamepad's uncomfortable. It's surprisingly uncomfortable.
I surely can, Jim. Because I'm not one-dimensional like you. I can change and flow with the water.
You don't flow with shit.
You're like an old slab of concrete that a bird shit on too many times. You just sit there and get angry and go, meh.
I don't get angry except for the last 5 minutes at Gamers.
Jim, you've been angry for the past 7 years.
I've been angry for longer than that.
But it's just...
But it was just such a level of bullshit, where I have a Wii U collection. I like collecting for the Wii U. It's fine. And, all the good games from it, much like the Dreamcast, have been ported somewhere else with better versions. So, it's like, motherfucker, don't be mad about it being taken off the Wii U eShop. You don't care. You never cared. You just want to be the guy who puts the tweet out there that's like, this is anti-consumer.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That's my point. How much of this is just fake outrage?
It's completely fake outrage. No one saw the Switch release and went, oh my god, I better go to the Wii U and download it right now. No one thought that.
All right, Jim, can I ask you a question?
No one thought that until they took it off it.
It's a little bit of a tangent, but it's kind of on what we're talking
I want
about.
someone to give me a reason why this is such a bad thing without quoting Jim Sterling. Because I fucking watch him. So if you can give me a reason without sounding just like him, I'll give you some fucking credit. I dare you.
But Jim, and I know you watch him, and you might even like him, but couldn't you say most of his views are just very generic and to begin with, because it's just general outrage over shit we all have outrage for, but he's just being outspoken about it?
I mean, I do like him, but the last year and a half has been pretty rough because it's the same fucking bitch fest every day. Blah, microtransactions, blah, DLC, blah, we get it.
Yeah, that's my point.
You've been talking about it for 2 fucking years. I get it's the outrage porn that everyone flocks to him for, which is fine. That's his bit now. It's his gimmick, and it gets him success. Good. Get your money. Get your success. But I just can't care after this much time. Fucking the industry's fucked. It's all changed anyway. You don't have to buy. You don't have to buy this shit.
All right, Jim, so what pisses you off more? Fake outrage like this, like someone's clearly just trying to get that, like you said, to get that tweet out there to really
All about that clout.
I'm the one with the clever little quip about this, or people that just fake care about shit.
Isn't that kind of the same?
Well, one is acting like you're outraged, and one is like you caring for a legit good cause when you know you don't, and it's really just to get clout to show how good of a person you are.
Oh no, the second's definitely worse. I legitimately believe Sterling really does care about what he talks about. It's just I'm sick of it at this point. But there are a ton of people out there who are just doing it for the meme, basically. And I hate that 1,000% more.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
at least stick to your fucking laurels. If you stick to your laurels, I don't even care if I think you're wrong. At least you stick to it. But if you're just clout chasing, just go away.
And because of you, because of a lot of people you interact with and are friends with, I say we have a lot of people that we're friends with, interact with, whatever, that are very niche and like what they like to a degree of, you could even say it's crazy. Like they're very hyper focusing on something they really, really like.
Fair.
And I can completely get, I'm so much more like behind someone. Like you said, even if it's something I'm not into, like, how much have you ever been like me and you went down a YouTube hole or Facebook hole where you just watch stupid ass videos like someone like whittling wood or like doing something?
Oh, yeah.
And you see someone so focused in on one particular thing they really, really like. And the same deal, like, that's what will attract me to certain YouTubers is like, if you're too generic about too many things, it's like either you better have the personality or you're showing something. Or if you're all about like one system and one particular thing, and then I see you freaking out. Like if there's a Wii U guy out there that all he cares about is Wii U and was freaking out, I'd respect that a lot more. But like, who the fuck else is really playing it other than the absolute diehards?
Yeah, like that's just, it's the thing. Like I think, what did it come out, like 2014, 2015? You've had the time to get it. It's a system no one bought. It's a system no one's going back to buy to get fucking Pikmin 3 on it. If you didn't play it back then, like, you're going to just buy it on the Switch. That's what most people are doing. That's why they resell all these games, because people buy them up. So, like, just stop.
All right, Jim. Can I recant a previous statement I made in another podcast?
Go on.
I want to combine both making gamers mad and something that gets me mad, which is that idiot who bought all those copies of the Super Mario.
You hate him so much.
Wait. Let me finish.
All right.
Can you go out and buy all the Pikmin 3 copies and get people really mad that they can't play it on a Wii U at all?
That would be funny. That would be really funny. I think Pikmin 3's around, because it's funny. Fucking who was it? God damn it! Like, I'm gonna have to look up this guy real quick. But like, there was a time when everyone went out there and bought up a shitload of copies of Pikmin 3 because they thought it was gonna be one of those games that had like a limited run. It didn't really sell as well as Nintendo was thinking and shit like that. And then they put it as part of their like player's choice line, so there was 1,000 versions, so no one fucking cared anymore. So it's like one of those deals. So like, there's a ton of copies out there. Ah, shit, I can't remember who it is. So sorry about that. But yeah, man. Oh, that would be funny. That would just be funny to have a wall of Pikmin 3s just to be like, oh, look at all these peasants who don't have it now. Don't you wish you were like me? Now the problem with that is Pikmin 3 is way more expensive than Mario Duck Hunt. So
that's not the only problem with that, Jim.
Okay, correct. Not the only problem with it, but it's one of the hindrances for me for the meme.
But it would be so worth it.
And then I would have to separate them by normal version and player's choice version. Oh, lordy.
I know.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
And then you could get cute about it like that asshole. I mean, it'd be so adorable.
Then I have to get label upgrades.
Get draw on some of them. Yeah, this is I do. It is funny that you have these. These always do make me laugh. The shit that gets people riled up.
Yeah, we almost had another one for next week because not Revlon, but who's one of the razor companies? The one that pissed off people like last year by
Gillette.
Gillette, that's the one.
Yep.
They have a promotion with this Animal Crossing now with like special skins for your Animal Crossing people, and it's like 250 skins, but I looked through the comments and like no one cared outside of, is Nintendo cool with this? So it didn't have the same level of read that the Cottonelle one did. I guess if you don't take people's precious goddamn slots for their house, then no one cares. Fucking babies.
It's overstated. It's crazy. But Jim, I see you put this one up here. I'm kind of interested to see what your take is. Actually, I think I know what your take's going to be.
Oh, my take's completely silly, but you probably know where it's going.
Yeah. Sticking with one of our classic bits, the overrated, underrated, Jim threw in here Metroidvanias, and should go without saying what this is, but it basically implies a platformer that's non-linear, that usually has multiple paths, multiple locked paths. Just think any Metroid game and any Castlevania past from Symphony of the Night and pretty much all the handheld versions after that. There's been plenty of other games that have tried to emulate the style or have emulated the style.
Oh, there's a fuckload.
But yeah, I want to hear what your take is on this, because I think you're gonna say they're overrated.
Oh, I am, and here's why.
Yep.
I say they're overrated because I'm bad at them, because I always get hopelessly lost in them that I get pissed off and never finish them. That's why they're overrated. They fucking, like, there's so many of them that I just get hopelessly lost, and then I try to go to a FAQ and a walkthrough. And I'm looking through the FAQ and a walkthrough to the exact point I'm at. But of course, there's something along the way that I goddamn miss, that I goddamn need. So I'm trying to scan through the whole goddamn thing anyway to find that one fucking item that I goddamn need to open a goddamn door so I can complete the fucking game. But I can never find it, and I just get frustrated, and then I turn it off, and I never go back to it. So that's why they're overrated, because I'm not good at them. Because I have very little patience. The only one I ever closest to ever beat legitimately was Super Metroid. I think that's probably the perfect one, because the only thing I could never figure out was when you have to use a super bomb on that glass walkway. I didn't realize you could blow that up. So that was the only thing that made me confused. But it was a simple enough puzzle that once I got it, I was able to do the rest of the game on my own. So that is a perfectly balanced Metroidvania. The rest of them can eat my butt because I
Have you not played Symphony of the Night?
I haven't finished it because I got hopelessly lost and I didn't find the item that could turn me into a bat. The same way I love Bloodstained, I fucking love Bloodstained, but I can't find the one goddamn key that I need to get on the stupid fucking Soul Train so I can keep playing the goddamn fucking game. And I'm sure if I played Axiom Verge or if I played fucking all the other goddamn ones, I would get just as hopelessly lost. Or Carry On. Once I finally play Carry On, I goddamn know that I'll get lost, even though it's not even that long of a game.
No, yeah, but you will get hopelessly lost. Oh, that's hilarious. That's exactly why I thought you would hate it.
That's why I put it on there, because I was mad at Bloodstained.
Yeah, so, alright, so as we said, Jim is very surface. If you gotta dive too deep into anything, he ain't gonna like it, which is why he doesn't like these. While
I love the
agree,
games. They're all good and fun. I just get lost and confused, and then I get mad.
So, while I agree, they can get frustrating. To me, biggest reason they're underrated, and if you go back to Metroid, it was a bit of ingenuity when designing games that you had, at the time you had platformers, you had running guns, you had shoot 'em ups, like vertical shooters. You had all these very simple move from left to right, from down to up, and that's it. There wasn't a lot of thinking. And then these games come along and it's like, oh, okay, you can move any direction and there's a map, there's different things you have to do, there's puzzles. It combined so many different things into a game where, yes, you're obviously still just going along killing enemies, but oh shit, you have a chance to run into an enemy that you are woefully not prepared for.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is a perfect style of game that is a nice bridge between JRPGs and more modern RPGs, because they have the same elements. Like, you collect shit, you need very specific stuff. And a lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of them, you are basically leveling up your character. But you're doing it in still a 2D fashion for the most part. And I was always attracted to them. And like Jim, when I was a kid, I sucked at them. As I got older and I could play them and understand what it is like I needed to do, it gave a longevity to these games that previously you blow through games of that style in 2 hours, whereas these games could easily last you 12 or 13. So it was also a matter of, it was way more bang for your buck for the game, and you'd usually just see a lot more creativity versus, I can just keep pressing the button the right time or just time this boss. Like, you needed to combine a lot more elements to it. So for all those reasons, I think it's very underrated, but there is a caveat. You got to be able to do the formula right. There's been many of these games that have done it that have just made it too unrelentingly and unnecessarily hard or confusing. Like Jim saying, Super Metroid, that is a damn near perfect game. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it's a little more confusing, but there's plenty of games out there that do this style really well. And those two are just really the staples and grandfathers of it. So I'd say underrated.
Not going to be really underrated because people praise the genre for the most part when the game's in it.
But they don't really praise the genre as much as they do those specific games.
Yeah, I guess. But there's so many games that copy that formula and do it well. Especially,
but it's still not as copied as other games.
You know what it is? It's been kind of like this generation, along with like beat 'em ups, where like that style's had a real resurgence. Like, there have been so many games.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been done poorly, but it's one where it's underrated when it's done well. Yeah, obviously, if you're playing one of these and they're done shittily, you're not gonna have a good opinion at all. But when I do play them and they play well, it's a way better experience than any just regular ass platformer you're gonna play. Let's put it that way. And there's usually much more in-depth and interesting stories being told throughout multiple levels.
Story.
We know Jim's anti-story.
Had to do it. Had to say it.
So let us know below what you guys think. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Doesn't matter. We're not talking about a specific game, but the style itself. All right, hold on. Let me grab one more beer before we go.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, I do not need another beer. Oh boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably don't. Oh.
I was hungover as a fucking snake yesterday.
Damn it, Jim. All right. Get started in 3, 2, 1. And our final topic for tonight, and also a recurring bit, which is better. It's a little more obscure. I'm throwing it in here. I thought of it very last minute. But which is legit better? Not which do you hate more, but which would you prefer, Jim? Between just a game that offers out DLC, and I'm not even going to separate whether it's free or whether it's paid for, or games where they're clearly releasing quote-unquote new versions of the games, and really all they're doing is maybe adding new characters. The best example, look at Street Fighter 2. After Street Fighter 2, how many different versions of that game came out? That a lot of them were, it's a little faster. Oh, it's a little faster and 2 more characters. It's a little, like, there's been many, many games where I feel like had there been some version of DLC in the past, you could have kept the original engine and just kept building on it through patches, through whatever. Because obviously most modern games today, that's how they handle them. And it's pretty rare, except for sports titles, where you're just seeing the same engine being revamped over and over. So what do you prefer? Which one do you think is actually better? And moving forward, what do you think as far as how gaming should do it?
Okay. See, again, this is almost a bit of a caveat, but I think the best way that they do this, it would fall under revamped versions, but for the games that get the Game of the Year editions that have all the DLC with it. So, I mean, if it depends. Are you just going to talk about like on release, paying full price when it first comes out kind of deal?
Yeah. So
okay.
I do agree. Well, let me just say, yes, that literally combined both things. So that's kind of when you have a Game of the Year edition, it's a revamp, but it's with all the DLC. But if we're assuming day one, your little Jimmy Wimmy pants went out and bought a game.
In this day and age, doing it DLC wise would be better. Like, even Street Fighter 4 still wound up having like 4 fucking versions of full retail releases for Street Fighter 4. It had Street Fighter 4, it had Super Street Fighter 4, it had Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, I think, and had maybe Ultra Street Fighter 4? Something like that. It had a bunch of versions, besides the 3DS port and shit like that. Whereas Street Fighter 5 came out bare bones, which was its own sack of bullshit for $60, but they built up on it enough through the years through DLC, both paid and unpaid, to turn into a pretty good product. So, like, in this day and age, I would rather pay the $60 up front and just keep adding to it than having to pay $60 4 times for shit. And I kind of wish that these games, like, once they do these patches, would include a mode where you can go back to like a classic mode or like a release mode of the game kind of deal, which a lot of them really don't do. Like, once the new version's out, like, that's the version. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, you know better than I do, but like Warzone, whenever they update Warzone, it's not like you can go back to an older Warzone, right?
No, but usually the updates are really just because they're adding stuff. They're not changing anything major except for maybe adjustments of guns.
Okay, so yeah, I think overall just throwing DLC onto a game that you bought, obviously outside of the Game of the Year, which comes with everything, I think it's way more consumer friendly to just let people pick and choose what they want to add to the game. Now if it's like forced DLC to like keep current with the current meta and you have to pay the money, then that comes down to bullshit. But if it's, adding more characters or adding more modes that you might or might not use, if you make it optional, then I think DLC is way better then.
So yeah, like, I look at a perfect example would be go with all the major titles that keep doing DLC. So like your Grand Theft Autos, Look at Smash Brothers, the latest one. They keep adding the characters.
Which you don't have to buy for Smash.
No, you absolutely you don't.
Right, even a better version, fucking No Man's Sky, which I think most of the DLC is free.
All of it's free so far, and that's what I'm saying, and that's why if I said free DLC, then it's a clear.
That's
winner.
a no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many games that are adopting it. Even Call of Duty. Say what you will, the latest one, you still got a full campaign. You have a co-op, you have multiplayer, you have Warzone. But even if you didn't buy the game, Warzone is free to play. And every so often they release these crazy huge updates, which are annoying, but they allow you actually, even if you don't have the game, to play multiplayer for free. So you get a taste of the game. And so far, you don't pay, but they are making enough bank on the microtransactions for these battle seasons, and I might have like thrown $5 towards some of those things, like those in-game like dollars, so I can like unlock certain costumes or whatever. Right. As much as I think it's bullshitty, and yes, we all grew up loving games where it's like, I used to just work for my costumes. I agree with that 1,000,000%. But if you're telling me I can save myself from getting a shitty updated version of the game where it doesn't just keep getting released by having microtransactions that are completely optional, I'll go with that any day. I think the only thing that should ever continually update, unfortunately, is probably sports games. I get it. It's completely new rosters. They're trying to do...
There's no reason that these yearly sports games are all full price. They do it because they get away with it. But there's no reason that you couldn't release like one or... I'll give you two. I'll give you two a generation with like updated graphics and blah, blah, blah. But do 2 generation, then just keep updating the rosters and shit like that. Like, there's no reason for it.
And it is tough because they're... And as we've seen throughout the years, like, there are some years where it's like...
It's a big revamp.
Man, but year to year, you can have a really big jump, and all of a sudden they figured some shit out.
Right.
It is tough, and it's like... It goes back to what you said, though, like, even if it was a sports games, the only way they could make that work is if it was a 2-year cycle that you could definitely go back, if you did, like, a 2020 and 2021 combined, that you could go back and have the roster from 2020... and switch it between. So, once again, though, that's something I totally get. And if you're diehard into sports and that's your one game thing, whatever, that's your $60 a year.
Right. And there's also the thing where, like, I get the business side of it where a lot of these AAA game companies, they live and die off their yearly release titles like that. So, like, they have to release all these ones yearly to, like, stay afloat. Even though, it's also part of their business and blah, 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 where they probably... could make it so you don't have to live and die by these fucking yearly reskins and shit like that, but it's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I mean, from a practical sense, there's really no reason for it.
Like, even though I know you're diehard Street Fighter 2, as a kid, did it annoy you at all? How many different versions of 2? Like,
dude, I own like 10 versions of Street Fighter 2. I own 2 in Turbo on the Super Famicom. I have Championship Edition and Super on the Sega Genesis. I have Hyper on the Xbox. I have Ultra. Ultra Street Fighter 2 Xbox on the 360. I have Ultra on the fucking Switch. Like, there's so many versions. It's unnecessary.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, little young Jimmy thumb up his ass Napoleon. When you were
how dare you assume that Jimmy thumb up his ass old Napoleon doesn't exist, sir? Please, sir.
Like. Did you ever say, like, man, this is kind of, like, bullshit? Because I remember having this argument, and this probably is the spark of when I was a kid, because, I never understood. I'm like, oh, man, I got Mortal Kombat 2. I got Mortal Kombat 3. And then someone's like, oh, but I still have...
I have Ultra 3. Oh, I have 3 Trilogy.
Well, even that pissed me off. Don't even get me started about that. But the only difference I'll give credit there was Trilogy was that final, like, cap. And I didn't do any in between.
And that was the next console, too. Like, you had 3 and you had Ultra 3 on the same generation.
Yeah, exactly. Which I didn't do. Like, I wasn't willing to buy because I was like, well, that's bullshit. But I had friends who would, like, you get into that argument of Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. I'm like, you're still on 2 version 7 or whatever the fuck it was. Like, I was like, it's just, that's ridiculous. And oh, now you have Tammy. That's real cool. Like, it just, I don't know. When you were young, even though you loved it, did you ever get annoyed by that? Or did you even buy multiple versions as a kid? Obviously now you buy every version you can, but when you were a kid, did you just stick with one?
No, because, well, with Street Fighter, at least on the Genesis, there's the 2 versions. And the first one I had was Super because my dad brought that home one day. And then I eventually went and got Championship Edition because I was like, all right, I want to see what the difference is. And, like, my prize for a good report card, and God knows in my upbringing I wasn't allowed to have bad report cards, was I would be able to get a video game. Of course, it would be from the used section because, God forbid, I spend more than $30 on a game. But, for all my childhood lockdown and abuse. But, you know, this is, you know, that was my pittance. I get a toy or I get a game for a good report card. So, you know, I got...
That's a pretty damn good deal, though, Jim.
I can't complain.
That's a toy versus a game.
It's where all the bullshit that surrounds me comes from, Brian. So, I'm a product of my upbringing. So, yeah, like, I mean, I did get, like, Championship after I had Super, and I always liked Super more because it had more to it. But, yeah, I mean, back then it didn't bother me. I didn't really think twice about it, to be honest with you.
Interesting. So, yeah, obviously, this is going more and more away, the chances of seeing Revamped, but we just wanted to throw it out there, especially since we have a lot of retro fans and people who I know are diehards. You know, what do you guys think?
I'd really be shocked if anyone said maybe because it's a one-time thing and you can just plop down your $60 and you have like the version you want. There's an argument there, but I just still think like, what are you going to wait for that version? God knows what even comes out, so I don't know.
You did, but you hit one of the things I will wait for, unless if it's a Resident Evil game, I'm buying brand new.
Right.
Chances are, if it's a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls game, not counting the online shit, I'm probably gonna buy it right away. But something like the Far Cry series, or Saints Row, or some of these other bigger games, or even like Red Dead Redemption, I know they're great games, but I will wait till there is a Game of the Year edition and it's still less than $60 and it'll have every DLC. I'll just do it like that. Like I am all about doing it like that. And Mortal Kombat, even to this day, I love every new Mortal Kombat that comes out, but they release so much cool goddamn DLC and it's like, do I want to pay $60 for the game and then whatever 40, 30, whatever the price point is for the season pass for all the DLC? Or do I want to wait and eventually pay $30 for everything?
Right, like that's why I haven't bought Mortal Kombat 11 yet, because like with 10, you had 10 XL, which I eventually got, that had everything on it.
Yep.
So eventually with 11, it'll have its version that comes with everything, and then I'll get it then.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, it's, that's the way, hopefully more people just, you know, Jim and I are now at that spot where it's,
we old.
It's not even that. Like, I think I'm trying to show what I think is valuable in the game itself. Like, I'll still shell out the money for the Call of Duties. I'll still shell it out for Resident Evils. But I ain't doing it for some of these franchises because I know I'm just going to get fucked in the end. And I know the value of the playthrough after so much time.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, I'd be very curious if anyone out there is really all for just a revamped version.
Yeah, if you have a legit reason, let us know. We would love to hear it, because I can't think of a legit one.
Yeah. But with that, guys, we're going to be closing it out. Jim, how you feeling after those 2 strong-ass beers?
I got some tipsy going on here. I'll be sleeping like a baby tonight. Won't get enough sleep for work tomorrow.
I was going to say, you're going to wake up feeling rough tomorrow. Though.
Yeah, I do every Tuesday morning. It's like a tradition at this point. But, yeah, this Expecto Faga it's squiggly fucking writing on here. It's good. Like, it's kind of a typical citrusy, foggy IPA, but it's real
hazy.
It's perfectly, it's good. It's nothing special, but if you like fuzzy IPAs that'll get you drunk, this is a good one to go with. I just to say, I'm working on a quick, like, it'll be a quick video for this Craft Beer King box, but spoiler alert, I really like this box. It's just very pricey. I like what they do, though.
Yeah, it's the convenience of trying beers you normally wouldn't be able to, and you're always going to have a higher price point. So,
Yep.
it's a unfortunately it's a price you pay.
Pretty much.
But yeah, like I said, this apricot wheat beer from Ithaca, just I'm telling you, if you need a nice summer beer and you're outside, no matter what, if it's hot out, if it's whatever, dude, it goes down smooth. It has just enough flavor. Nothing I can really complain about it. So pretty solid overall. But with that, guys, we want to say thank you if you stayed tuned with us the entire time. We appreciate it. Make sure if you're listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever, please give us a rating. And if you can, give us the highest rating, even if you want to bash us. And if you're not already, please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow our website. Anyway, we're available pretty much wherever you can get our podcast.
Oh, also, real quick, the last tier list we put out, we'll be putting it up on the website this week. I'll send it to Brian probably tomorrow. We're recording on Monday the 10th, so that'll be up there. So I'll put all your guys' stuff on there too. So
perfect. And with that, everyone, we want to say good night and cheers.